spirituality and the greater community way of knowledge, it really points to the end of isolation for humanity. And that is going to change religion, that is going to change how we live, how we perceive ourselves, and how we must behave going into the future.
Let's go east of the Rockies. Your turn. You're on Coast to Coast. Welcome to the show. Hi there.
Yeah, hi, George. How you doing? This is Keith from Chesapeake, Virginia.
Hey, Keith. Thanks.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Hey there, Marshall. How are you?
Hello, Keith.
Great. Hey, I had some questions for you. First, I wanted to kind of lay out the basis of my call. I had some close encounters with UFOs in my life that were both of them were approximately 300 feet from me. My second sighting that I had in later years was exactly how I asked for it to happen, which was pretty phenomenal to me. I believe I've had some type of mental contact with other beings, you know, in the realm of my sightings.
And what kind of contact was that?
Well, it was some type of mental. There wasn't actually physical, or I wasn't abducted or anything like that.
Friendly, though? Good information, or was it negative?
Well, no information, really. Just I was trying to find out, you know, where they came from and if it was real, and that was my confirmation of my second sighting, because my first sighting happened when I was growing up and we were camping outside, me and my friend, my best friend, in his backyard outside. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. You know how kids are when they play. We were goofing off at 3 a.m. in the morning. We were about like 12 or 13. And then we were just sitting out on his porch outside. Of course, this wasn't a screen porch. We were about 300 feet or so from the cornfield. And my friend kind of screamed out to me, he said, "Keith, look, you know." And we looked up to the cornfield, and there was a kind of like a picture book or Steven Spielberg UFO out hovering above the cornfield with all the lights, like one in the Close Encounters movies, hovering out there. And it probably, we saw it for 15 seconds, and I was frightened to death. I pulled the covers over my head and kind of peeked out, and then it whisked away. And then it's just one of those things that always haunted me, I guess you could say, for lack of better words, for years. And
Did you get a message from all of this?
Well, later on in my years, I'm 52 now, but...
yeah, you're a baby.
And, and later on in my years, it's been something that I've always been trying to attempt some type of contact, and I've always been a stargazer. I've been involved with astronomy clubs and things like that, and just asked questions up into the heavens before, and basically said, if you were real, or, you know, I'd like to see this. And I asked for, because I was curious on how the UFO craft flew, and I was trying to ask where they were from, where you came from, and I was kind of directed to the Pleiades star cluster in mental thoughts. And I had asked, you know, for another sighting. I asked them I'd like to see a UFO without any lights on. You know, and then when I was 26, living in Laurel, Delaware, that was when I had my second sighting, and that's exactly what happened. I saw a craft that, as I was coming home from work, it's really weird, a craft that when I was coming back to my apartment, I crossed over the bridge by the lake, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and I thought what I saw was a truck or something like a pickup truck coming up to me close in my rearview mirror, and I was afraid that maybe he was drunk or something by the way the lights looked, and thought he might hit me.
A drunk E.T. Marshall, I guess the point, too, that Keith's saying is that he's been looking for these answers, where they're coming from, and it looks like they're not telling him.
Yes. Well, this is first of all, I'd just like to acknowledge that I felt strongly when Keith was speaking to us that he's really a greater community person. He's a person who has an inherent connection to life beyond this world, and I think that many people in the world today have this connection, and yet it's very confusing with our own sense, our normal sense of ourselves as human beings, and our normal sense of ourselves, you know, living in societies and so forth, that we have this mysterious connection or sense of destiny to life beyond our world. And I want to make it really clear that throughout my writings, and the point I'd like to make tonight is, our destiny is in the greater community. I mean, this is where we're heading. This is where humanity can fulfill itself, and yet there's very challenges to crossing this threshold, and I think that's what the Allies are really talking about.
Yeah, but what's disappointing is that you get visited, you being me and you and everyone else, by ETs that aren't really friendly, that have their own agenda. And to me, that's disappointing that they'd be out there coming.
And that's the tremendous quandary. I mean, the sightings that I've had, it's very troubling because you're seeing something that's very, very different, and yet you have no answers.
You would think if they had the technology and evolved to get here, they would have changed. So it doesn't sound like they have. So what does that tell you about us?
Well, technology doesn't change who you are.
No.
I mean, and so here we are.
But knowledge should.
Exactly. I mean, that's why when the Allies talk about knowledge being the most powerful force in the universe, they're talking about this is the thing that really strengthens you and uplifts you and enables you to function at a much higher capacity. Because, I mean, technology in the universe, in the greater community in which we live, is something that can be purchased and stolen and copied and so forth. But knowledge is really the tool for seeing and knowing and discerning. And that power is something that even few in the universe have. The Allies talk about how rare freedom is in the universe, which is something surprising. We would think that advanced technological societies would have outgrown deviousness and selfishness, but it's just not the case. I mean, technology does not raise the moral and ethical dimensions of an individual. It takes a whole other power within us to do that, and that is the power of knowledge.
If you were around during the days that Michael Rennie came down in a spaceship and landed in Washington, D.C., and unfortunately they shot him the day the Earth stood still, you remember that one, right?
Oh, gee, I don't recall that myself.
Well, you remember the robot?
Oh, the robot, yes.
And all that?
Mm-hmm.
What would you have done if you were in that audience and then some soldier took a pot shot at him, this alien walking down the ramp?
I'm not sure how to respond to that question. I think, showing hostility in that situation is certainly unwarranted. But again, it's the reality shift that is so dramatic for us, is that we're not prepared for the reality that we live in a greater community. And I think that education really needs to happen. I mean, that's part of the preparation that we need to have. Otherwise, sightings and encounters have an immense shock value, and when people are shocked, many people respond violently to that.
Website, which ones do you recommend again?
I recommend the Allies of Humanity website.
.org?
.org, and the New Message, www.newmessage.org, and there you'll see the writings about greater community spirituality, the greater community way of knowledge, and just covers a tremendous number of really important subjects.
And the books are available where again?
They're available through any bookstore or online through Amazon.com and so forth.
And will the messages come back? You said they haven't talked to you in a while.
They haven't, but I think that may change in the near future, because I think there's a different set of circumstances now emerging in our world with the decline of our environment, and that sets us into really a different stage in this whole encounter we're having with intelligent life beyond our world.
All right, very good. Marshall Vian Summers, the Allies of Humanity, trying to sort through this and save this planet, but maybe we have